So today I wanted to review a product called Lightpack that I had seen a few months ago as a Kickstarter campaign initially, and I've been following it for a little while, and finally now that it's in production, I went ahead and ordered it. What it is basically a set of LED lights, LED strips that stick on the back of your TV or monitor or whatever you have a PC hooked up to, and what it does is it provides a backlight for your whatever you're looking at on the screen. So it basically mimics the colors on the edges of your display, and it provides a backlight so you have less eye strain. Anyways, the reason why I bought it because I thought it looked really freaking cool, specifically for gaming, because I wanted to play Battlefield and just basically have a backlight that matches what I'm looking at on screen. It gives you like a more immersive experience and just kind of really neat looking. So I ordered it, and I just want to go over my experiences with this product, let you guys know if it's something cool that you guys might want to use in your own setup. But since this is a little bit of an unusual product, I'm going to go ahead and open the box and just kind of show you what comes included with this. So here's the Lightpack box. Before we get started, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's really neat that somebody can go from an idea on Kickstarter to get it funded through people excited about your project, and then end up with something like this so finished and complete, where you got your own packaging and logo down right to the physical product itself. It's really just an amazing thing, I think. But anyway, here's the box. Here's the external box that comes in, and so you just rip this perforations open, and inside what you get. Quick install guide here. There's kind of 3 different configurations you can hook up the LEDs to the back of your monitor with. First one is the Andromeda, where it's kind of just goes in a circular pattern, and then you can do Pegasus, which kind of puts the lights out to the far left and far right edges of your monitor. And then there's Cassiopeia, which kind of puts it in an upside down shape U, so you don't get any lights basically along the bottom part of your monitor. Now for my installation, I chose the Andromeda Setup, and I'll show you how I installed that in just a little bit. So here's the main central part of the unit. It's the Lightpack box, which all the LEDs plug into and your power plugs into. You also get the 10 extra 3M adhesive strips in case you want to replace the lights, and you get an AC power adapter. It's a multi-country plug actually. I'll show you that in a second. And then here are the 10 LED light strips and the USB cable, and you get a couple extra cable management ties and cable management squares here to route the wires through. That kind of helps keep everything nice and tidy behind your computer. And here finally you can see the couple extra plug adapters you get as well. So here are the 10 LED strips. You can see it ends up being a lot of wires, so the cable management is definitely an issue. I installed this, as you can see, on the back of my computer. I'll show in a second. It ends up being a lot of wires and looks pretty bad. I didn't spend the time to really clean it up. To me, it was worth having these cables on the back of my monitor because you don't really look at it back there anyway, but it is something to keep in mind. It's not like the neatest thing. It does take a lot of time to kind of get the cables all sorted and nice and tidy as much as they show here. I mean, it is possible to get them really nice looking and clean as possible, but it's still a lot of cables. Now here you can see, it does take a little bit of setup time. And this is what it ends up kind of looking like. What I did was I went ahead and installed these with Scotch tape initially because I wanted to see how it would end up looking and be able to have them, in case I was to have to move these LED lights around to get the cable management right. I just put it with Scotch tape, so I didn't initially use the 3M adhesive strips that it comes with. I wanted to go over just a couple of the few little options you get in the Prismatic software. You can launch it here from the taskbar, or just launch the icon, obviously. So the two main modes are screen grabbing, which replicates all your colors on the outside of your screen, and then on the outer edge of your screen, and then mood lamp, which is where you can pick one constant color, or you can have it cycle through all of its colors, depending on how slow or fast you want it. And I'll show you all these options on how they look in just a second. I just wanted to kind of go over quickly the different settings and adjustments you get in the software, which actually isn't very many. You can turn it off and on here, which basically acts like a switch, and then you can set some overall brightness levels. And there's some plugins. I couldn't really find any useful ones online. Some experimental stuff. I don't know. And the thing about the software is that it hasn't really been updated since July of 2014, so it doesn't seem like they really keep up with updates. So here's what it looks like, when you turn it on in the dark. And I apologize for it's not the greatest video footage here, but I think it definitely gives you the gist. So what it does, I have the blue desktop background. You can see, drag these windows around, it just kind of follows the edge of the color, so you can see white at the top here. And so the effect is really neat. I think you have You know, anytime you want to move windows around, you're going to see colors change depending on what you're looking at on screen. You know, it looks a little bit washed out here. Obviously, I couldn't get the screen in focus, but the effect overall when you're using it is really, really cool, and definitely well worth having wires on the back, in my opinion. You know, and here's even like dark colors. And it's just a lot more. It's a lot more pleasing, and it definitely is easier to use at night on your eyes, and it's kind of neat. But you know, here's just some start menu. You can see. You click on things and basically the light follows around. And I'll show some really cool visualizations in a second actually that shows the range of colors better, but I just kind of wanted to show what the operating system does when you're just using it, you know, kind of day to day. And the other thing I was mentioning is here is when you want to get where you can have the lights all progress through kind of all the colors in like a slow fade. So you see here it starts out with the purple and then slowly goes into red. And you can adjust the timing of this too all in the software, which is pretty cool. I guess you could have that, you know, if you're going to have a party or something and you're not really using your computer. Otherwise, I think it'd be distracting. Also, when you turn the monitor off, it does still work, so that's kind of cool. So that's that. I just want to show you kind of how it looks around the back. Kind of with the monitor off, you'll see the gaggle of wires. Like I say, you can clean all this crap up and don't really look much back here anyway. But you know, if you want to do better wire management, I just spend the time. But again, I was just temporarily installing it. So that's kind of what it looks like from the back. This is the Asus ROG monitor. I did a review of that. If you guys want to check that out too, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good monitor, I should say. The one other thing to keep in mind too is there was the blue light on the Lightpack box gave off this just constantly glowed blue, and it was like distracting. When I wanted to turn the effect off, you still have this blue light in the background, which I thought was really weird. I didn't see any way you could really turn it off in the software, so I had to just end up unplugging it sometimes. So that is kind of like, what the hell? I don't know why they wouldn't allow you to just turn that off in the software, but you know, if they updated their software, they could probably add that feature in. And then the next mode here, you know, if you wanted to go with the solid color, like I was telling you, you can just choose one, just depending on what, excuse me, whatever 16 million colors, however many there are. You know, and then here's just some YouTube video. I wanted to kind of show what it looks like, how it picks up colors from video, I guess I should say. So you can see here, I think the effect is kind of really neat. You know, finally you have visualizations, right? So this is just using winamp and milk drop. Sorry, I don't really have it set to music. Maybe I'll probably add some here. There we go. So using visualizations with this is really badass, I think, especially if you can have people over or whatever, or just even to chill out and look at it. I find it pretty sweet. It was really, really, really awesome effect. Again, this is just using the milk drop visualization that comes with the winamp, and you can see, I mean, it picks up all the colors really nicely. I mean, it's a noticeable difference, you know. And I'll show you it with the light off versus on too. I mean, you can kind of tell. And that's how it handles that. So I think you guys kind of get the picture with that. Yeah, it's really cool. One of the main reasons why I initially bought it, because I thought it would look cool, and I think it does. And then finally, I just want to show you guys the video games. So here's how it looks playing Battlefield, and unfortunately I forgot to record the sound, so I really apologize about that. But I think you can kind of get the effect. You can see the blue sky and then the gray ground. This tractor here, it kind of turns this orange at the bottom. You know, my camera wasn't picking it up as well, but you know, when I'm sitting here in front of it, it definitely makes. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it's a noticeable difference. You know, here as I run through the smoke, things turn kind of gray. It's just, I don't know, it's neat. It's just pay attention to like kind of outside edges of the monitor. And I'll run over here. There's some fire over here actually, and I can show you that. But here you can just see again the green and the blues, and it handles it pretty fast. You can see the frame rates are here. It's maybe hard to read, but they're in like the 60s, 70s, 80s. But my main issue with this is here. Let me run up on this fire real quick. Actually, you can see this. So there, it looks pretty good. Now, when I'm playing this, it's 30 frames a second shown on YouTube. My monitor is the 144 hertz Asus I was telling you about, and you know, it shows my frames here 70 to 80 frames, which is great. But in actual gameplay, and same with using the OS, there would be huge frame drops to where it stuttered too bad you couldn't even really play it. So this looks, while this probably looks smooth to you on YouTube, when you're actually playing it, it's doesn't handle the frame buffer correctly. Something to do with how the box I think interacts with the SLI cards or the monitor. It becomes it's not really playable. So that was just a extremely huge disappointment. Now here's a quick demo of how the OS kind of feels when you have this running. You can see how jumpy this screen redraw is here when I drag this window across the screen. So it makes basically the OS unusable. I mean, you wouldn't want the effect because this is so ridiculous. And then here when you turn it off, you can see it's just normal smoothness as it should be. And so really that was the main detractor from this product. I mean, just the even general OS usage, you couldn't really get it to work right. So probably in the end, it's more a fact that I have the high refresh rate monitor and video cards SLI'd. So if you guys have a single video card with just a 60 hertz monitor, this thing probably would work a lot better. I mean, I've seen other reviews online where people weren't really complaining about that. It's just a bummer they don't keep up with the software, because to keep up with the PC enthusiasts who would tend to have higher refresh rates, so it's just a really bummer that this didn't really end up working properly, at least with my setup, One other thing I want to mention too, in order to get this to work, I couldn't even run it in full screen mode in Battlefield. I had to switch to this borderless windowed mode, and once I did that, then the Lightpack started working. Guys, with the light off, so you can kind of see the difference. Here's gaming with it, off, and then with it on, it's just, I don't know. It looks, I guess the camera maybe makes it seem like, oh, it's not as much contrast, but when you're sitting in front of it in the dark, it's nice. Trust me. So a really neat idea, and overall just a cool product, but unfortunately couldn't get it working 100% right on my system, and that's just a real bummer, because like I said, this is a really, really neat. I think you guys can agree from what you saw, especially in the videos. Anyways, guys, hope you liked the video. Please give a thumbs up if you did, and stay tuned for some more videos. Thanks a lot, you guys, for watching, and take care.